Congressman, thanks for joining us.
No, thanks for having me on. I appreciate it.
So Zelensky's remarks, very powerful today, emotional. We heard him invoke 9/11 and Pearl Harbor. However, there were some, surprisingly, who weren't impressed, and I'd like to get your response to that. There was one in particular I saw, a Republican congressional candidate. He's a retired Green Beret, Joe Kent. He tweeted this, and I quote, he said, "Don't let foreigner leaders convince us we need to go bleed for them." He said there are plenty of other leaders all over the world that can deliver a speech like Zelensky did today. Ukraine is not the only war raging. It's not on America to intervene everywhere human tragedy occurs. Now, Congressman, I have to say, I applaud Zelensky's leadership and his heroism amid what his country is facing. But what's your response to those who are saying that, you know, America shouldn't get involved? We just went through the debacle exiting Afghanistan. We have a number of issues here at home. What do you say to them?
Well, Jen, we certainly have a number of issues here at home, and I would love to see our southern border secure, but Joe Biden has fumbled that ball and punted on that for now. But the Ukraine is a very important country. It's got the fourth most natural resources in the entire world. And the United States, in history, has shown us when we become isolationists, like after World War I, what happened 20 years after that? You know, it was World War II, and it was even worse.
Congressman,
from the front. Yes, go ahead.
No, go ahead. Finish your thought.
No, I was just going to say, Mercedes, he's not leading from the front. He's following from behind, and that's not what we want in the President of the United States.
Yeah, there's no question. We also saw that President Biden authorized $800 million in new security assistance, and this would include 5 Mi-17 helicopters. Yet Biden refused to even comment on getting Ukraine the MiG jets. I want you to take a listen to this.
Mr. President, what will it take for you to send the Polish MiGs that President Zelensky is asking for?
I'm not going to comment on that right now. I'm not going to comment any other than what I've told you.
Well, this is
Congressman, he will not comment on the MiGs, but what makes it different to have the U.S. be able to get helicopters and drones to Ukraine, but not the warplanes?
Mercedes, allow me to comment. He just got that dead wrong. I mean, there are Democrats on the Hill that got it right with almost all the Republicans. It is war material. This is a proxy fight. We are willing to send them harpoons, which will take out ships, Stingers that'll take out aircraft, mostly helicopters. We should send them the S-300s, as Zelensky had asked, as well, which is a legacy Soviet surface-to-air system. But also the Javelins that are, running havoc with their tanks. These are war materials. We should be sending them sniper rifles and plastic explosives and anti-tank mines and RPGs and light machine guns. And by the way, a lot more than 7,000 machine guns and 20 million rounds. It sounds like a lot, but it's really not. So he dragged his feet. We asked him to do this back in November. I signed on to a letter. And again, he's not leading. He's just following. And they should send the MiGs. Poland wants to give them, and we can backfill the Poles, our Polish allies, with F-16s. It makes perfect sense. And Joe Biden just got this one dead wrong. And he's I don't know, he's doubling down. I don't know why.
Well, Congressman, it's such a contrast in leadership when you look at Zelensky compared to our President Biden. I mean, Zelensky received a lot of praise for his speech today. Axios, they linked him to a young JFK in the way his messaging to world leaders, his command of the television medium. Meanwhile, Zelensky called for Biden to become the leader of the world and the leader of peace. You know, President Trump led peace through strength. We're seeing no strength from Biden. I mean, he had low energy in those remarks today, and we've certainly never seen him earn that bipartisan respect of lawmakers like we saw with Zelensky today.
No, there's no doubt. And it's interesting that Putin put his aggressive nature on pause for 4 years. And it just happened to be the exact 4 years from January of 2017 to January of 2021, because I really think he feared President Trump. Putin is a thug. Putin is a bully, and he does fear strength. And that's what we needed to do. And that's why it would have been a lot easier to get all this war material into the Ukraine in November, when there weren't 200,000 Russian troops invading the country. So, yeah, it's a tragic situation, but it's one that's not over, and we can salvage it. We just, again, have to show bold leadership.
Congressman, we witnessed something that was very rare today. It was unity in Congress, where both sides of the aisles basically gave Zelensky a standing ovation. There was a lot of emotion in the room. And I think a lot of Americans see that and wonder why our lawmakers can't come together like this when it comes to other issues, domestic or foreign. What is going on? Why were we not all urgently coming together to secure the border or help struggling families? I mean, where can we find common ground in these two parties?
Well, you know, Mercedes, I'm on the Armed Services Committee, and we had an amendment to the NDAA, which is the National Defense Authorization Act, which we said it's the will of this Congress that the border security is a national security issue. There's 31 Democrats and 28 Republicans on the committee. I thought we'd lose the vote. We actually won the vote. 5 Democrats joined us. It was a 31-26 final vote. So we won, or 33-26 rather. Anyhow, we did it. So sometimes we can come together. It's going to take leadership, you know, to do not necessarily the Democratic thing or the Republican thing, but the right. And I truly believe that securing our southern border is the American thing to do. I think helping the Ukraine fight off a bully is the American thing to do. Balancing the budget, things of that nature. And I wish it was more bipartisan. And you know, listen, I think we're looking at, Mercedes, in November, not a red wave, but a red tsunami. And hopefully we can take care of some of these, you know, real pressing issues for the American people.
Yeah, I think you're definitely right about that tsunami, Congressman. Congressman Pat Fallon, always great to have you on the show. Thanks for joining us.
You're great American ladies. Thank you. Take care.
Thank you. Well, while President Zelensky spoke to Congress, Vladimir Putin spoke on state television, doubling